or your pastor, listen to them. I learned that the hard way sometimes, but now looking back, I really appreciate and I'm so thankful for my parents, even though it was hard being a teenager with your dad, your pastor. But I remember asking my husband before we were married if he really thought we should live here in Oregon. And I'd be really real with you ladies, so. Because the situation I was in, my parents had a home missions church, and I was everything that they weren't. So I played piano for altar and song service, and I helped with Sunday school, or went and picked up kids, or whatever, you know? And that's, I mean, when you're the only saint, you have to run back and forth. So without me, I don't know what, God knows. I'm gonna get to that. So, everything looked right for us to stay in North Carolina. But after asking him a million times, he talked with his pastor, and Brother Parker, being sensitive to God's will, advised Jess that it would be good for me to move here. Both Jess and I trusted his judgment because your pastor always knows what's best, no matter what. But I'm not going to lie, I did have a little doubt inside. But I was smart enough to yield to what he advised. Little did I know that my parents would see the greatest revival after I moved here. And they're still having revival. They had 22 adults in service a couple Sundays ago. Plus the kids, which is about 19 kids. So God knows what he's doing, even though you may not understand. And so, I'm missing a page, but here we go. Here it is, okay. So, all because I remembered my pastor teaching me from the little girl that any decision in life you make, whether it be big or small, to pray for God's will. God's will may be a sacrifice at first, like it was for me. I left everything to come out here for my husband. But the payoff is always greater in the end. Can I beg you to seek after God's plans for your life? You cannot imagine the things he has in store for you. If you stay faithful to his commandments, he will stay faithful to you. Trust God through everything. You may not see the big picture, but God sees it. The world is becoming more and more scary, yet the safest place to be is in the will of God. God will show you his will through prayer, fasting, and studying the scriptures. You cannot go against God's word and be in God's will. As you study God's word and spend time in prayer, your relationship with God will grow and you will begin to understand God's will. You will then be in the right place for God to give you instruction in your life. Most of the time, God won't come up to you or speak to you in an audible voice. I never had that happen to me. But many times you have to trust God with all of your heart. Just like Proverbs said, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. God will bless you with confirmations throughout your life that will somehow keep you directed in his will. He cares about us, but we have to seek his face and his will. He's not going to chase us down because he's a gentleman. And so I wanted to end with this poem, and it says, I'll read it slow. There is never a moment in life that we don't need God standing by. He is the answer we're seeking when we ask the question, why? It's all a matter of faith, the faith that allows you to pause and remember the full importance and immutability of God's laws. He's standing there beside you, and in faith you can always see that God has a plan for forever, though it's unknown by you and me. So with him in control, you can focus on performing as well as you can the duties that he wants you to handle while he handles the master plan. So I want to encourage you ladies that if you're struggling in life right now, or you have a big decision in your life that you're feeling confused about, can I encourage you to pray and seek God's face and seek his will for your life? Pray these verses in Proverbs over your life. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Take away all my plans and lead me in your will. God, I trust you, and I want you to order my steps. I give you free reign in my life. God, I trust in your will. You know what's best for me.